Luka Doncic, Rob, set an NBA record last night with his fourth straight 35-point triple-double.
Did they win?
Right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They did win. They beat the Heat. He broke the record by Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook, which was 3, the longest streak. And it was his 5th straight triple-double overall in which he scored 30 points or more. So Doncic with his 15 triple-doubles this season, 71 in his entire career, only 6 years. That's 9th all-time in NBA history. But Chandler Parsons, former NBA player, on FanDuel TV's Run It Back, talked about how it could be frustrating playing with Luka as great as he is. Here he is.
I think he's an unbelievable talent. He is literally a guard version of Jokic where he can do everything. He's mesmerizing with the basketball. But as a teammate, it gets a little exhausting watching the same over and over again. And then when you don't win, it's even magnified. Like, okay, can we try something else? Can I maybe get the ball?
Well, that's why I asked you, did they win? You know what I mean? Because the numbers are eye-popping, Chris. They are. But they don't always translate into wins. And I think Parsons is being honest about being a teammate in that where a guy needs the ball as much as he does. It's got to be. I don't know. Kyrie's been able to flourish like numbers-wise, but I don't know. Is that somebody you want to play with, Chris? Is that somebody long-term who's going to be able to win an MVP because of the numbers but not because of winning? I don't know.
He's good enough to be the dude is awesome.
No, I get it.
He's good enough to be an MVP, but if he doesn't win a lot of games, he's not going to be.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the dilemma. But that's my take. I think Parsons is spot on.
I agree. As much as I like Luke and Rob, I think I was the first, maybe not, but I think I was the first to call him Luka Legend off Larry Legend. I've said he's a new age version of Larry Bird. Jokic is really more like Larry Bird, 7-foot version of Larry Bird. But Rob, I completely agree with what Chandler Parsons is saying. If you are a teammate of Luka's, who can do some things on their own. Now, Kyrie, like you said, has been able to flourish.
He has. His numbers are good.
But it's tough to win when you're a one-man show. And Luka Doncic's usage rate for his career, his usage rate, is 35.6. Guess where that ranks in NBA history, Rob?
Where is that?
Guess.
Number 2.
Number 1.
Okay. I was gonna
highest
say,
usage rate in NBA history.
I was going to say, I figured it was high, but I was going to say maybe.
He's only played 6 years, and 3 of those, he already has 3 of the 14 highest usage rates in NBA history. And Luka Doncic has got to look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do differently? And what he can do differently is play in a way that incorporates the rest of his team. Not just him dribbling and kicking out to you for an open three-pointer, him dribbling and taking a shot, him dribbling, driving, and then drawing a double team and throwing it to you up at the rim and you dunk it. No, other guys really touching the ball. And Rob, we have not seen a one-man show as great as these players are. Michael never won it as a one-man show. LeBron never won it as a one-man show. Wilt, Oscar, they never won it as one-man shows.
James Harden. James
Harden. He's not on their level, but he's a Hall of Famer. And yes, never won it as a one-man show.
Kobe was a one-man show with the Smush Parkers of the world. That wasn't pretty.
They weren't even close.
No, I'm just saying, but Kobe's a great player.
You're not going to win. That Rob, when Michael Jordan was in Boston, Chicago, and Phil Jackson first came in and put in the triangle, he said, this is how you're going to win. Getting other guys involved, letting them touch the ball, And that's what happened. And so Luka's getting to that point where we always talk about there's a honeymoon period, right? You get those first several years where, we don't really expect you to win. We just amazed that you are a superstar. You have established yourself as that guy. But if you don't win at a certain point, even get close to winning, now we're going to start docking you. And that's what happens. And Luka's getting close to that point where it's like, dude, the numbers are nice. The numbers are lovely. But if you're not going to win, a lot of guys could put up numbers in a bad situation and be on a bad team.
We talked about it. Yep, that's easy. It's still the bottom line is about winning. And if you need to pull back, Chris, some to get other people involved and become better at winning. And I know they went to the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago, right?
Yep.
They did. So.
But even that year, Rob, that's a prime example. Jalen Brunson was the second leading scorer. I don't even know if he was second, but he averaged 16 points on that team. Did anybody have an inkling?
No.
That he could do what he's doing.
That's a great point because he played with Luka and you couldn't see that. Totally like when he went to the Knicks and what he's been able to do. Come on, most people are like, really?
Right. They're like shocked because we never saw it with Luka. And the best teams, Rob, the Showtime Lakers, Magic was able to be the best version of himself. So was Kareem. So was Worthy. The Bulls with Jordan. Jordan was able to be the best version of himself. So was Pippen. So was Dennis Rodman. Shaq and Kobe. For all their beef, Shaq was able to be the best version of himself, and so was Kobe. When you look at Denver, Aaron Gordon don't have to hold back.
Right.
KCP and Michael Porter Jr.
They can
and Jamal
play their
Murray,
game.
They can play their game. Because Jokic, as much as he may have the ball, he don't dribble the air out the ball. He's moving that thing. And I love Luka. I want Luka to win. I agree with Jason Kidd that he's better than Dirk. But he gonna have to do it a little differently. Their only thing they could do, Rob, and I don't think this would necessarily work, but Allen Iverson was like this. Little different style, obviously very different type of player, but he wasn't like the playmaker and passer that Luka was or is. But Iverson was similar in that he was so ball dominant, had to shoot all the time. And so what did Larry Brown do? Get me a bunch of grinders, spot up shooters, defenders, don't mind doing the dirty work, don't mind Allen taking 30 shots a night.
It got them to the finals and winning game one in L.A.
Right. I mean, it didn't get them a championship, but it got them far. And that's kind of what they may need to do with Luka. But even that, Rob, I don't think it's going to win a championship. Like, Luka's going to have to, I just think this style of play. And look, some of this is on Kidd, and I've talked to some people and feel like they like that's how Luka plays. Well, you got to did Michael Jordan shift a little bit, Rob?
You have to adjust, Chris, if you're trying to win. You just can't say because you haven't gotten there. Right?
Right. And it ain't working.
It ain't working, and you have to take a look. And I think the case about Jalen Brunson, Chris, is probably the prime example on why they would need to take a look at it and say, why didn't we see this here?
Yep.
Why? Yep. Why didn't we see this here? Can you imagine what he would be if we had him and we didn't have to trade for Kyrie?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We could have had something else.
Remember, they could have got him for, $55 million? It was
right.
low.
It was low, and they played hardball, and they lost.
Yeah. It's tough. And obviously, I didn't play anything close to these guys' levels. But when one guy does it all, it's tough on the rest of the players, especially if the other players have some skills. Like we brought up the Iverson Philadelphia example. Those guys weren't really skilled. They could catch and shoot. They could defend. They could rebound. That was about it. They weren't guys that could create their own shot and wanted to get 20 shots a night because they know they could get 25 points on that. But when you've got guys that can do those things is going to be tough. And then, Rob, to put a cap on it or a bow around it, then that guy's not playing defense.
Right, that's the other bad part. Right.
Right. At least when LeBron was ball dominant, but LeBron would play defense, great defense at during his prime. And that makes up for it. And that's why I think one reason LeBron could get further by being ball dominant than Luka's been able to get. But, I think they got to talk to him. Jason Kidd, as much clout as anybody in this league, got to sit down and talk with him. And they start working it. Now, he's not going to be running off picks and screens and stuff, but we got to try to get, not be as predictable. And my turn, your turn with him and Kyrie.